Blog Talk Radio.
Welcome to Talk Forensics, where real experts answer your questions about their forensic specialty. Your host for Talk Forensics is Larry Daniel. A computer forensics expert himself, Larry is the principal examiner for Guardian Digital Forensics. Larry's unique focus on criminal defense makes him one of the most experienced computer forensics examiners available to assist attorneys in defending clients charged with murder, fraud, sex crimes, and other crimes. Talk Forensics. Real science, real experts, real talk. And now, your host, Larry Daniel.
Good afternoon, everyone. This is Leslie Denton filling in for Larry Daniel today on Talk Forensics. Today, our guest is Cina Wong. Cina Wong is a court-qualified, board-certified document examiner and forensic handwriting expert with 18 years of experience in the field of question documents. She analyzes handwriting and documents for signs of fraud. Cina was one of the forensic handwriting experts involved with examining the ransom note and the John Benet Ramsey civil matter. She has been mentioned in the Boulder Daily Camera, the New York Post, USA Today, featured on Good Morning America, CNN, Court TV, and appeared on Fox News, On the Record with Greta Van Susteren, and The O'Reilly Factor with Bill O'Reilly. Cina's here today to give us an insight on what a forensic handwriting expert really does. Welcome, Cina. How are you today?
Oh, fine, thank you. Thanks for having me, Leslie.
Oh, yes, we're excited about our show today, and we've already got several people in the guest chat room with us today. And I also want to remind everybody they can call in and ask Cina questions directly at 646-727-3674. Today, first thing I want to ask you, Cina, is to have you tell us how you became interested in becoming a handwriting expert.
Well, that started a long time ago when I was about 14 and a half years old, and I attended a private boarding school at the time in San Jose, California, and that school had a stellar reputation for their educational program. But what happened was a group of girls beat me up due to racial reasons and that I would not partake in their extracurricular activities, which included drugs and alcohol. So basically, if you're not part of the clique, then you're treated as an outsider or you're punished, and that's what happened to me. Though I was cornered and attacked in my dorm room, I was found in a corridor far away from my room, and I was cut up so bad that I was dripping blood all over the floor when someone tried to get me to the school infirmary. And directly following the incident, I received quite a few death threat notes that were shoved underneath my dorm room door, and the headmaster told me to turn these notes over to him and that he would take them to someone called a handwriting expert at the police station. This is the first time I've ever heard of anybody who did this type of work. And the headmaster explained to me that this handwriting expert would be able to determine who wrote these terrible notes. I let about 3 months go by before I went back to the headmaster's office to inquire, and when I knocked on his door, he stuck his face out the door and asked, what do you want? And I asked him, could you please tell me if you've, heard from the handwriting expert at the police station? And the headmaster yelled at me, and to paraphrase, he screamed, don't you ever ask me about this ever again, and I never want to hear you bring the subject up with anyone. So he then, with great force, slammed the door in my face. And it was at that moment that I made a promise to myself to become a handwriting expert someday, so I would always have the skill to protect myself with such situations and to help other victims of handwriting crimes. So here I am today.
Wow. What a story, too, Cina, and we appreciate you sharing that. Let me ask you, I understand that you went through a lot with that and everything. Tell us a little bit about what it takes to get to be a handwriting expert or to become someone that is board certified.
Okay. People who are interested in document examination now, they have it a lot easier than I did many, many years ago when it was difficult to find courses, especially in college. But I've taken a college course from Larry Ziegler, who was a former FBI document examiner, and I've also taken a specialized course with John Hargett, who's a former chief document examiner with the U.S. Secret Service. And you can go the standard way to get information about the field, or you can join certain organizations that are directly catered towards the interest of forensic document examination. And I belong to the National Association of Document Examiners, and I'm also past vice president of that organization. You can join the American Society for Testing and Materials International, known as ASTM, and they have a question document section, and they're the largest voluntary standards development organization in the United States and possibly even the world. You mentioned about certification, and I received my board certification from the National Association of Document Examiners, and it's a 3-step process. And I first had to qualify by documenting to the certification board that I had the education and training to be able to take the certification exam. And I had to include approximately 5 of my cases that I had testified in with all the information about the attorneys, the judge that was involved, and all my detailed work and exhibit charts that I used in court when I testified. After passing through that qualifications, the second phase would be to take a written exam. And you can take the written exam at an annual conference. And this exam is taken in a room with other document examiners who would like to get certification. And it's a proctored exam. And after passing the written test, then you're allowed to go on to the third phase. And the third phase is an oral test. And that can be in the form of a mock trial. And they give you a case, and you do the work on the case, and you present it in front of, we've had judges and attorneys be part of the trial, so judges and attorneys will view your work and weigh the contents and the way you've presented your case, and if you pass that, then you will receive your certification.
Wow, that's pretty interesting.
Very lengthy and involved, and not everybody passes the written test, so they don't get to go on to the mock trial until they have to wait like another year or so before they can retake it again.
Right. So that means that it's very well organized as far as the certifications, and they do have to pass a certain standards. Standards are very high, which is what they should be because they're forensic examiners, correct?
Yes, that's correct. And, basically, just because you get your certification, it doesn't mean, okay, I've done all my education and that's all I need to do. What I also participate in is in proficiency testing. And I participate in a bi-yearly proficiency testing through collaborative testing services. And it's a handwriting identification test that's in cooperation with the question document section of the American Academy of Forensic Sciences. So it's good to keep yourself updated and tested, making sure that you can still do the work. I go to conferences every year for my continuing education, and that is also beneficial because I need to be recertified every 5 years. I have to have enough continuing education credits in order to be recertified.
Right. Interesting. I do have someone in the chat room that's already asking a question.
Sure.
And they said it would be interesting to know if you have examined documents that are only present on the web, like the Obama birth certificate. They say they are not a birther. They think they're kind of silly. They're interested in knowing if you've ever done that.
Oh, if I've examined that document in the case regarding the Obama birth certificate, I've looked at it on the internet, and I'm very skeptical about it just because. I'm sorry?
Go ahead.
Oh.
They're asking if you had done that one or if you had worked on any similar to that have been only present on the web.
Oh, no. And for that, the reason is because I can't verify where that document originally came from. So it's too easy for someone to create a document, put it on the internet, and say, oh, yes, this is what I found.